discipler. So I will be talking more specifically on that. How do we become intentional disciplers, especially beginning with our family. So let me share my slides with you. Okay. Yan. Can you see the slide? Can you show a thumbs up if you can see the slide? Okay. And then is it okay if I will call on some of you so that we can hear some of your voices? I want to call all of you, but it's not possible to do that. So I'm gonna call on si Ma'am Cynthia first. Ma'am Cynthia Maramba. Okay. Can you see the slide, Ma'am Cynthia?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you read for us po? Ano yung nakikita natin sa slide?
CONFIDE, How to Become Christ-Like Disciplers of the Family by Pastor Mel Santos.
Ayan. Okay. So, thank you po, Ma'am Cynthia. And
Welcome.
I think you're joining us from London. Is that correct?
No, my background is Yokohama, Japan, but I'm coming from Houston. I'm coming from
okay.
Houston.
Ah, wow, beautiful. Ma'am Cynthia, can you, thank you for joining us. Anong oras na po sa Houston right now?
10:40 p.m.
PM. Okay, I better make this short because you're gonna miss past your bedtime, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, pakilagay naman, and those of you who have not yet done it, can you please put at the end of your name your location so that we know, we can appreciate where you're coming from. So as you can see, I am so far away. I am in Pasig. Okay. So, all right. Let me now show you where we're at. So earlier, Mo introduced yung need for us to discover first where we're at. Pastor Dan put an emphasis on us discovering marami pa palang we're not yet disciplers. But, that is also exciting because we can. Okay, let me assure you, we can be disciplers who are Christ-like by doing this first. Okay, so I'm gonna ask naman yung pinakamalayo, si Ma'am Millet from Quezon City. Makibasa po, Ma'am Millet. What can you see on the screen?
Sir, family first.
Okay.
God's mandate to disciple His church by discipling the family first.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Ma'am Millet. Thank you so much. Okay, so you see, oftentimes when we think of discipleship, we think of other people first. Tama ba? And very often, our families, we don't think of them first. Yes or no? Okay. So I'd like to encourage you that the secret to being Christ-like disciplers is making sure we intentionally disciple our families first. Okay. So you don't have to turn off your mic, but say with me, family first. Okay, one more time. Family first.
Family first.
Okay, one more time. Family first.
Family first.
Okay, parang hindi kayo convinced eh. Kasi pag hindi kayo convinced, hindi natin mako-convince yung iba. Tama ba? Okay, so dapat convince tayo. So I hope I can convince you by showing you why family first. So let me show you. Okay. Here are top 10 reasons why we need to, anong nakikita natin sa screen? Why discipleship is what? Neglected in the family. Okay. Neglected ba ang family discipleship? Ano sa tingin ninyo? What do you think? Is it neglected? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So, have you heard this reason? What's the first reason? Darna, can you see? Okay, can you help us? What do you see on the screen, Ma'am Darna?
Yes, I'm not ready and don't feel equipped.
Okay, have you heard that before, Ma'am Darna?
Agreed.
Or have you used that before?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Oh, ito ba? Oh, si Ma'am Miraflor naman. Ma'am Miraflor, what do you see on the screen? Number 2. Si Ma'am Miraflor Tanyag. Okay. Paki-on po ng mic natin, Ma'am Miraflor.
I might make mistake.
Ayan. Nadinig mo na ba yan? Have you heard that before?
Parang no pa, sir.
Hindi pa? Wow, ang gagaling naman ng mga kwan sa inyo. Hindi pa nadinig yan? Okay. Alright. Thank you. Okay. Can you read the next one? Ma'am Miraflor, while I have you.
I read the Bible, attend church activities, and able to serve God in other ways. I'm happy as it is.
Okay, what about that? Have you heard that before, used as an excuse? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's continue. Si Roel naman. Roel, can you read what's on the screen, please? Number 4. Roel. Ay, hirap yata si Roel. Si Ma'am M. Sige, go ahead, Sir Roel. Mukhang,
Yeah, I'm
Okay
busy
lang ba?
and don't have time right now.
ayan. Have you heard that before, Sir Roel?
Yes po.
Oh, okay. Have you used that before?
Yes.
Sadly, yes, di ba? Yes. Yes, di ba? Okay. All right. Thank you for your honesty. Ano pa? I'm not spiritually mature enough. Yan. How many of you have heard this before? Raise your hand. Ayan. Okay. Or tayo mismo, ginamit natin. Ayan. Okay. Number 6. I can do it in the future. Very mayabang, presumptuous. Bakit? Buhay ka pa ba sa future? Alam ba natin yun? Buhay ba tayo? Okay. Number 7. I don't know where to begin. Okay. Is that valid? I think that's a valid valid reason. Okay. Number 8. Okay. Let's read. I'm not sure what to do
to disciple.
disciple my family. How many of you feel that way? Raise your hand. Yan. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you. So, we will help each other on that. Okay. Number 9. Let's read. I don't see the need of
Making disciples.
Okay.
The work,
The work of the church
Leader.
leaders.
Okay. How many of you have heard that? Raise your hand. Wow, di ba? Akala natin trabaho lang ng pastor yan. Di naman ako pastor, di ba? Okay. Number 10. I've tried.
I've tried it
in the past and
didn't go well.
Okay, how many have experienced that personally? Sinubukan ko pero wala eh. Nagalit pa sa akin yung dinidisciple kong kapatid ko or nanay ko or asawa ko.
They refuse.
Tama ba? Okay. So, I think all of us at one point in time have heard this or even we ourselves have used these various reasons. Okay. So, here's what Sig Ziglar says. Okay. Let's read together. Put all excuses what?
Put all excuses aside and remember this. You are capable.
Okay. Can I hear everyone say that with conviction? You are capable.
capable.
You are capable.
You are capable.
Kayo convinced. So, sige, let me help us elevate the level of capability. Alam nyo, you and I understand that there's a compelling urgency. Okay. We will put all excuses aside. So there's a compelling urgency why we must disciple the family first. Let me show you. Do you know that the family today is in crisis? Okay, that the next generation, and I don't blame them, okay, I'm just stating a reality, is the me generation today. Diba? And this article from Time tells that millennials are what? Lazy, entitled narcissists who still live with their parents. Is that true? Is that the kind of people we are working with today? Well, whether you agree with that or not, that's the reality. And, you know, one of the things that we see happening more and more now is what? Single parent homes, right? Instead of the two parents, okay? Raising the family. And if not single parent, the father is what? Or the mother is absent because they need to work. They need to be overseas. Okay. Ano pa? Divorce. Okay? Divorce, or we don't call it divorce in the Philippines, but practically, okay, we allow annulment. Okay, which has the same effect. Okay, ano pa? Wrong values. Anything else? Live-in or cohabitation. Premarital sex and teenage pregnancy. Gender confusion, same-sex marriage. Ano pa? Addiction to internet games and pornography. Okay. Let me ask you, is the family in crisis today? Yes or no? What do you think?
Yes.
Huh? Okay. Do we see this more and more now?
Yes.
Yes.
More or less?
More.
Or
So we can all agree that the family is in crisis today. And that is one of the compelling reasons of the urgency why we need to disciple. Add to that substance abuse. Okay. Do you know that the UK has a big problem when it comes to alcohol? Are you guys aware of that? That it's so alarming that the government is launching, several initiatives, to find out why, alcoholism is very high and health-related problems with that. And other countries as well, drugs, So this is happening very wide, So Benjamin Disraeli once said, no success in public life can compensate for
failure in
failure in the home. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Can I see a thumbs up if you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, if we agree with that, what are we gonna do about it? Okay, what are we gonna do about it? Okay. Here's an example from the Bible itself, which you and I might have glossed over, but I'd like for us to re-examine. Okay. So this is between Eli and his son. So I'd like to call on siguro si Sir Levy, who is joining us from Ireland, to read for us, excerpts from Samuel. Okay. Sige po, go ahead, Sir Levy.
Okay, now the sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas were priests to the Lord.
Sige po, go ahead. Continue lang po.
Now the sons of Eli were worthless men. They did not know the Lord. And so the sin of the young man, Eli's son, was very great before the Lord, for the men treated the offering of the Lord disrespectfully. Now Eli was very old, and he heard all that his sons were doing to all Israel, and how they lay with the women who served at the doorway of the tent of meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Levi. Okay. Jewish po ba kayo, Sir Levi?
What's that, Derek?
Are you Jewish?
Yeah, I'm the third son of my father as well.
Okay. Wow.
No. I'm Philippines.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Levi. Okay. So, everyone, yung binasa sa atin ni Sir Levi, anong napansin nyo? What did you notice about the sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas? What did you guys notice? Very quickly. Were they
Worthless.
women.
okay? Una muna, tignan natin, ano yung occupation nila?
Priest.
Priest. Okay. That means, they are part of the choice few who are serving in the temple. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, sa ating equivalent today, pastor yung mga yan. Okay. Somebody's writing on my screen. Who's this? Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, in today's equivalent, pastor yung mga yan. Yes or no?
Yes.
Ating konteksto, ano? Okay. Ano pa napansin nyo? Ano pa napansin nyo? Aside from their occupation, from their, ano pa sila? Anong sabi niyang writer?
They did not know the Lord.
Worthless.
Tay, bakit daw, Tay? Sige, sandali. sabi.
They
They
did not
were
know the Lord.
worthless men, and the reason Samuel said that in his book is because they did not know the Lord. So is it possible that you are a pastor, you are serving in church, and yet the way God sees you is you don't know me, and you are?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
And What else did you see here? The young men treated the offering of the Lord what? Here's an indication that they did not really know the Lord nor respected God. Because look at the offering. Anong ginagawa nila? What did they do? Huh?
The offering of the Lord
Treated it
was
disrespectfully.
disrespectful.
Okay. The way they did that was instead of giving the choice offerings first to God, they helped themselves in the offering. Okay, what else? What's worse? Wait, there's more. Sabi nga ni Pastor Dicky. Ano yung nasa huling kwan dyan? Anong sabi? Ano pa?
They laid it out.
Also what?
with the women.
Oh, grabe. Okay, so imagine niyo ha. Makarinig kayo sa pastor ng CCF. Okay. Kinukuha yung offering tapos meron pang pangangalunya. How will that affect you?
Pointed.
Grabe, di ba?
Stumbled.
Ma-stumble ka, di ba? Okay. So, you see, what I wanted for us to realize here is it's not a guarantee for you and me if we are part of a group, even if our profession is, let's say, a pastor or in a religious one, that we are already discipling the family or it's already happening. Okay. So here are the fatal consequences. Okay. What did the Lord say? Okay. Si Ma'am Lorena, can you read for us? What do you see on the screen?
Fatal consequences of neglecting family discipleship. Eli and his sons. The Lord speaking, in that day I will carry out against Eli all that I have spoken concerning his house from beginning to end. For I have told him that I am about to judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knew, because his sons brought a curse on themselves, and he did not rebuke them. 1 Samuel 3:12-13.
Wow. Thank you, Ma'am Lorena. Let me ask of you, how many of you here are parents? Raise your hand. Are you a parent?
Yeah.
Okay. Question, parent. Christian parent, just like Eli. Will God hold us accountable
Yes.
for the actions of our
Yes.
children? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, I'd like you to respond right now using the chat box. Okay? Please open up your chat box. Can this neglect to disciple our own family still happen today? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Second question. Okay. Very, come up with a concise answer lamang. Okay. Maybe a few consequences. What are the possible consequences? Okay. What are the possible consequences? Can we expect if we, like Eli, fail to disciple our own family, though maybe we're active in ministry, in church, or even what? Discipling other people? I'd like you to use your chat box right now, like to give you an opportunity to respond and type in, what do you think are the consequences? Okay. Wow, broken relationships, broken generation, disgrace. Okay. We become hypocrites. Wow. I'll be held accountable. Nobody will believe us. Ungodly, broken relationship, illness. Okay, wow. Amazing, amazing responses. Thank you for your honesty. Death. Children will be, okay, will receive punishment. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you po sa mga responses ninyo. Wow. Okay, thank you for sharing with us your answers. Okay, so let me share with you true to life example. Okay, let's listen. And I want you to take note. Okay, take note. What consequences did he mention? Okay, due to a breakdown in family discipleship in this case. Okay, so I'd like you to write down on the chat box as you listen to him. Ano yung na-observe ninyo na binanggit ninyang consequences? Oops, sorry.
And both my parents attended church when they were available. Early on in our lives, they fought a lot, and it affected me, but I never showed it. Except on this one night, when I was about 6 years old, I remember they were screaming so loud that I had to intervene. It was only when we moved to CCF 11 years ago that our family life improved. Since childhood, I was exposed to the church life, attended worship every Sunday, read the Bible, prayed, and had family devotions. When I was 7 years old, I even accepted the Lord in Sunday school. But at the age of 9, some kids in school were talking about the word sex. So I Googled it on the net, and since then I was exposed to pornography and eventually learned to masturbate. My parents found out about this and addressed it a several number of times, and I got into trouble. Since then, I didn't open up to them about stuff going on in my life anyway. I had friends in school to talk to about it, so I kept watching porn, even if I felt guilty, because I believed the lie and told myself that as long as I asked for forgiveness from God, and that the people that I hurt, it would all be okay. So I continued with my bad habits and grew further and further away, not only from a relationship with my parents, but also a relationship with God. After graduating from grade school, my parents and I decided to homeschool since I had gotten caught watching porn with some classmates in school. While being homeschooled, I spent more time at home and around my family. It became clear to me how disconnected I was to them and constantly hid my thoughts, problems, and feelings from them. Sure, we would spend time together, travel, talk about interests, talk about God and the Bible. My dad even discipled me weekly for about a year as I struggled in submission to my D group leader in Elevate. My dad and I started to build a relationship, and I even revealed my pornography addiction to him. I made him feel like I was connecting, but deep inside I felt the bitterness begin to grow slowly. I eventually rejoined Elevate and served in several ministries here in CCF. I was part of a D group and in time led my own D group. I attended Christian camps, Christian concerts, Christian conferences, listened to praise and worship music, memorized Bible verses, listened to hundreds of preachings and testimonies, and even shared the gospel to a number of people. But all this was just a front to cover up my double life. I also noticed a disconnect in my parents' spirituality that caused me to see them as hypocritical. I would often hear them argue and complain about church and ministry, and yet they continued to serve. Our home was always so serious. There was no joy, and we lacked happiness. All the while, I thought Christians were supposed to be the most joyful, most humble, most loving people in the world. I started growing cold towards God until I gave up my personal prayer and quiet time altogether and replaced it with computer gaming, social media, and pornography. When I was 15, I developed...
Okay. What did you notice yung consequences? The breakdown of family discipleship. Okay, what are some consequences? Some of you have wrote double life. Okay, he got severe depression. Grabe, no? Ano pa? One after the other. And he saw his parents as what? Hypocrites. Hypocrites. Okay, he saw the disconnect. He can see through. Even though his father was discipling him what? Weekly. So you see, this reveals to us a key issue that we are missing and we fail to address. It's not just a matter of doing things, but rather it is a matter of modeling more consciously Christ-likeness. So very, very important. So here are some of those serious fatal consequences when we neglect intentionally discipling our family. Children grow up not fearing the Lord. Okay, they neither listen nor obey authorities, God, parents, employers, okay, which has fatal consequences in the future when you think about it, when they start working. Okay, double life of what? religiosity. There's no difference. Okay, and licentiousness. We become good at hiding. Okay, hiding our true selves. Okay, but it will be manifested eventually, especially in the family first. Because how can you hide consistently from your family? Diba? Okay, so when roles are neglected, say this with me, relationships are problematic. Okay, say that with me. Roles are neglected, relationships are problematic. Okay, I want you to think about that. Okay, very, very important. And that's one of the things that we will teach you. We will help you. Okay, we will help one another grow in. Eventually, what? Incur God's wrath, just like Eli and his sons. Loss of family
Family
heritage,
heritage, same
destruction,
destruction.
bad and ineffective witness to the non-Christian world. That's right. And contributes to church decline and societal decay. Beloved, this is very, very serious because even majority of our so-called church young people, alam niyo ba what's disturbing is they did not know Christ is the Son of God. Josh McDowell wrote this book. Okay? Can you see? Okay, what do you see on the screen? What's the title of the book?
The last Christian generation.
Okay, The Last Christian Generation. And in the book, okay, he said, many do not believe that the Holy Spirit is a real entity. And these are church people, these are not unchurched. These are church young people, okay, and think that doing good earns them a place in heaven. And just as disturbing is the fact that their attitudes and behavior are virtually what? No different.
No different than those of non-Christians.
Wow. Should that wake us up on the compelling urgency? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. Here's a report, okay, that comes from one of the most respectable research institute in the US, the Pew Research Institute. Okay, let's listen to this. Okay.
Very provocative. According to a Pew Research study of more than 35,000 American adults, Christianity's on the decline. 2007, 78.4% of Americans described themselves as Christian. Last year, 2014, that number drops to 70.6%. Among the non-Christian faiths, Jewish Americans up slightly, Muslims up half a percentage point to just under 1% of the population. However, the biggest growing segment of religion, those who reject it. Atheist, agnostic, nothing, up 50% to 22.8% of the population now. So what's happening? There's no question that people of faith are being marginalized by a secular media and pernicious entertainment. The rap industry, for example, often glorifies depraved behavior, and that sinks into the minds of some young people, the group that is most likely to reject religion. Also, many movies and TV shows promote non-traditional values. Truth is, if you are a person of faith, the media generally thinks you are a loon. The prevailing wisdom, especially among young Americans, is whatever's good for me is good, period. The overall good be damned. Pardon the pun. We see that reflected in the attitude on drugs. There's a strong move to legalize them and decriminalize even the sale of poisons like heroin and cocaine. Any student of history knows that when a nation turns inward towards the pursuit of individual gratification, the country's in trouble. Rome, the best example. The citizens there ultimately rejected sacrificing for their republic, I should say, and the empire collapsed. Talking Points believes the same thing is happening in America today, but it can be fixed if the electorate finally wakes up. That is a big if. The main reason Christianity is on the decline is poor leadership and corruption within the Catholic Church. The pre-scandal devastated the Catholic landscape in America. Although the Founding Fathers wanted freedom of religion, they did not want a secular nation. That's clear in the writings of Jefferson and Madison. The founders believing that a strong moral code put forth by religion protects people from harm and avarice. On the immigration front, chaos is simply overwhelming. Americans remain essentially a fair people. They know the system's broken, and they know our leaders.
Okay. So, if you are in America today, and I see some of you like Ma'am Mina from Eastern Kentucky, I can see you right there. Okay. Do you really see this happening in the US right now? Is it really happening? What he is saying?
Oh, yes. America has become a big mission field, if I may say.
That's right. So, you see, he identified it correctly. It's a failure in leadership among church leaders. That's right. Diba? It's a failure in leadership. And he also said that, ang perception ng Christians, okay, is negative. It's perceived negatively and it's portrayed negatively. That's why in the media and all of that. And so, what happened? Because, America used to be the number one mission sending country in the world. Do you remember? Most Filipinos, the reason why we can speak English is because of the Thomasites missionaries. Only 80 years ago or maybe 100 years ago. These came from America. Okay, but today, sadly, America is at a loss already. But it's not all loss if we wake up and acknowledge that we, can address this.
Very provocative.
Okay, so why is this urgent? Because if you look at this graph, Pastor Danny already showed this, you will notice, it tells us that the Protestant evangelical movement is declining fast. And what's increasing very fast is what? Those who are, have no belief in anything. And if you look at the year, we are already here, right? We are already at 2021? Yes or no? By 2035, this will overtake this. What is the consequence if at 2035, 14 years from now, most people do not believe in God anymore, including what was once the most powerful nation in the world, the US. The most influential nation in the world, the US. Okay. You see, there's a compelling urgency because this is all rooted in what's happening in the family. Yes or no?
Yeah.
You understand? What happens in the family is magnified in society. They're interconnected. They are not disconnected. I hope you and I realize that you and I have a role in shaping society by focusing on our families first. Okay. Zig Ziglar recognized it. That's why he said what? Making the family a top priority will invariably what? Bring success. And how can we guarantee that? Because God Himself promised it. God Himself has told us that even from the Old Testament. Would you believe it? From the Old Testament already, God already said this. Okay, so can I call on Angeli, who is from Houston? Okay, Angeli, are you still there?
Yes po.
Okay, can you read for us what's on the screen?
Yes, yes po. Now this is the commandment, the statutes, and the rules that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you, that you may do them in the land to which you are going over to possess it. That you may fear the Lord your God, you and your son and your son's son, by keeping all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you all the days of your life, and that your days may be long. That it may go well with you, and that you may multiply greatly, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. Deuteronomy 6 po.
Thank you so much. So, what did you notice here? That even then, God already told, His choice nation, the secret to possess the land is to simply what? To fear God, to be humble before God, and to make sure that your family, you and your sons and your sons' sons, legacy, be passed on Okay, so that what? Is there a consequence? A consequence promise if we obey it? Yes or no? Yes. Your days may be long. Ano pa? What are the consequences? It may go well with you. What else? You will multiply greatly. Okay. In the land of milk and
honey.
okay, how many want that? Raise your hand.
Amen.
Okay, I have a question for you. Is that still true today? The promise of God. Is it
Yes.
Yes.
The promise is still true. The covenant is still true. God is still the same. And therefore, I'd like to encourage you that the presence of God is available. His power is available. His favor is available among His children. If, there's an if there. If we want, be humble, fear the Lord, and model this effectively so that our children will also do the same. Do you see that in the passage? Okay, here's another one. Okay, see, can I call on Ma'am Irma and Sir Arnold? Siguro, one of you, can you read the screen, please? You're joining us from London. Okay, go ahead.
If any man is beyond reproach, the husband of one wife, having children who believe, not accused of indecent behavior or rebellion, for the overseer must be beyond reproach as God's steward. Titus 1.
Okay, I have a question. Does this mention family?
Yes.
Is family related to church life?
Yes.
Is family foundational to a healthy church life?
Yes. Yes.
It's foundational. Again, he repeats. Sige, si Ma'am Irma naman. Can you please read po?
Verse 4, he must be one who manages his own household well, keeping his children under control with all dignity. But if a man does not know how to manage his own household, how will he take care of the church of God?
Okay, so may I submit that this tells us family discipleship is the cradle of Christ-like transformation. It needs to happen in the family first before it can genuinely be felt in a Christ-like church. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. The problem is we have neglected it. And that's why we are beset with so many problems. And that's why I thank the Lord, because CCF is very clear to indicate what we should be seeing if we are doing it, if we are modeling Christ-likeness. We should be seeing what? Transform lives and transform families first. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. And that's why even in our core values, we emphasize what? Engage the
Family.
That's right. And so that's why we can experience transformation unto Christ-likeness, because His Spirit will be there when we are humble ourselves and obey all His commandments. Okay. Where do we see that? Again, yung sinabi ni Pastor Danny kanina, in the Great Commission, it's there already. Okay. But we have not paid close attention to it. And I just like to emphasize, it says what?
Obey in everything.
Ha? Ma'am Jessie, it says what?
Obey.
Ha? Obey some.
Everything. Obey
Ano?
everything.
Obey?
Obey everything.
That's right. So, what is everything?
Lahat.
Lahat. Okay. Pwedeng mamili? Hindi.
Lahat ng utos ng Lord.
Okay. Utos ba ni Lord na maging humble tayo? Yes or no, Ma'am Jessie?
Yes.
Opo.
Okay.
Opo.
Sinusunod pa natin? Hindi.
Sinusunod po, mahirap, pero nasusunod po sa grace ng Lord.
Okay, very good. Okay. Sinusunod pa minsan. If we're honest with ourselves, right? If we're honest with ourselves, right? Okay. So, the key is there. The secret is there. Okay, by being consistent. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we need to be conscious of what God is saying. We don't neglect, and we keep on being consistent in modeling Christ-likeness, because His promise is attached to that. Did you notice that the promise of be with you always is attached to obeying everything? Did you notice that? Okay. So very important. That's why, okay, we can expect all of this. Okay. Okay, so I have a question for you. Is God's presence manifested in our family today? Yes or no? And before you answer, look first if there are issues that are also evident in my family or your family. Because if there are, they need to be addressed by making sure we are Christ-like, humble, and intentionally discipling the family. So how do we do that? Let me end with this. Okay. We want to partner with you. We want to help one another grow in becoming Christ-like because we notice that that is really the key when we intentionally disciple the family. So I'm going to show you the overall process in the next slide. But in our training, we also will teach you how do we do intentional discipleship session. Focus on one thing only. Yung sinasabi ni Pastor Danny, one thing only, in order to be successful, you need to master the very most important, which is what? Christ-like humility. Okay. So simple but not easy. And to make sure that we are able to do that, we will be equipping you with tools and measuring aid to see whether we are honestly growing in those areas. But wait, there's more. Okay, this is the clincher. This is the validator. We need to validate growth and maturity at home. We will teach you how to do that. Okay, if you are really becoming Christ-like or not. And who do you think will validate whether I am becoming Christ-like or not?
Members, family members.
Very good. Who said family members?
Amen.
Okay, Casey, you got it right. Because a lot of us are delusional. We think that attending a lot of Bible study, we are already Christ-like. Are we delusional? Yeah, right? Okay, and that's why we need to recruit family members, partner with them to help us grow. So how do we do this? It's a 3-stage process. Okay, we call it CONFIDE. Why is it CONFIDE? Because the first stage is connecting. Okay, say that with me. Connect.
Connect.
Okay. Second stage is
Connect.
family intentional discipleship. And third stage is empower. Okay. So how do we connect? Okay. If God has convicted you, share right away with your family what God has taught you about the one thing pala of Christianity that we have been missing. And pray at the same time that this will open an opportunity that you can start discipling them. Because the idea, those who will be transformed are those who obey, who also disciple other people. And that's why you want to empower them, you want to challenge them to also intentionally disciple other family members so that they also become disciplers. That's why it's called CONFIDE. You get that? Okay. Which incidentally in Latin also means with faith. Okay. You like that? Okay. So here's a flow chart. So if you, okay, are a member of CCF, and I think all of us are, many of us are, whether international or national, okay, ask yourself this question. Do you have a family members, relatives, anywhere in the world who needs to know the Lord? Ang sagot lang dyan is yes or no, right? If your answer is no, okay, then make them disciplers who will make disciplers. How? Go with them to steps 3 to 5. We will show you that. If the answer is yes, then disciple them already, intentionally, by first making sure they are saved. Sabi nga ni Pastor Danny, yun yung pinaka-importante. Okay. Share the gospel and share them the one thing. How? You and I need to be disciplers first. How do we do that? Make sure you attend the training, which we will provide in June 26. Okay, the training for CONFIDE. Okay, you will learn a little bit more, okay, a lot more about what Pastor Danny has shared of what it means to be Christ-like. How do we do that? How do we build that? And then what's next? After I attend the training, what's next is to apply it. Of course, apply it right away by intentionally discipling our families. And, Okay. See, the challenge is every member a discipler. And then challenge them. Okay, you don't need to be perfect to start discipling, but you do need to be intentional and conscious about being Christ-like humble. Okay, doesn't need to be perfect. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And enable others to do the same. Because you see, intentional discipleship puts a focus to help us by admonishing one another, addressing issues, because we all have blind spots. And family members are very good tools that God channels that God can use to reveal to us what we need to address. Okay. Being intentional in discipling simply means this. Okay. Number one, okay, can I call on Cheryl? Can you read for us? Okay.
Intentional, purposeful time, not just anything goes. Planned schedule, not just by chance. Measures, application, not just discussion of issue. Other person validated, not just self-validated.
Okay. So, do you want to see this happen? Tama ba?
Yes, po.
Yes. Sometimes yung ating small group, ang nangyayari, Bible study group lang, pero they're not addressed, right? Or we don't know if we cannot measure whether something has already happened or not, or other people are validating it. Okay. Can you continue, Ma'am Cheryl?
Okay. Encouraging up, not just catching up. Transformation, not just information. Accountability session, not just shallow sessions.
Okay. And
obedience to Jesus, not just excuses and lip service.
yeah. Okay. So I'm just highlighting, okay, the difference of what intentional discipleship is. So right now, I want you to answer this poll. Okay. We're going to show you a poll. Okay. I'm going to stop my screen here, my screen share, and I'd like you to answer a poll using Slido. Okay. So kindly scan the QR code or click on the link on your chat box. Okay, to answer this poll, simple lang po, yes or no ang sagot natin. Okay, so that we understand further, okay, what it means to be intentional Christ-like disciples. So, go ahead and launch the poll. Okay, how many of you have signed in already? Hold on. 0. Okay, ang dami. Okay, so kindly, okay, waiting for the link. Ayan, okay. Is the link? Okay, link is the most popular. There you go. Thank you, Nigel. Okay, so click on the link and answer the poll. Okay, so I hope you're able to access it. Okay, so right now, we have 0 persons able to access. Ayan. Okay. So, let's answer together. Okay. Honestly, do you see the questions? Okay. Okay. Do you pray for each person you disciple every week, specific to their needs? Answer yes or no. Okay, so just answer the questions yes or no lang, as honestly as you can. Okay? All right. Okay, we have 3 persons in. 7. Okay, we'll just wait for the rest. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Sige, let's move to the second question while others are catching up. Okay, second question. Do you address specific character issues? Okay. Okay. Number 3. Okay. Do you intentionally measure and validate independently how humble each person is becoming in your small group? Number? Okay, bumalik. Number 4, do you set up a healthy, encouraging system of accountability? Okay. All right. Number 5, do you openly share your personal struggles, failures, victories, and answered prayers? Okay. Number 6, do you consistently model Christ-like yieldedness to His Spirit? Okay. At home. Number 7, do you pray for and engage unbelievers every month, investing on relationship? Okay. Number 8, do your housemates or workmates enjoy being with you? O piling ko lang? You have to ask them before you answer. Number 9. Number 9. Do you ask forgiveness and repent when you offend someone in your home? Yes or no? Okay. Number 10. Do you sense God's presence in your life? Okay. Number 11. Do you see spiritual fruit of multiplication? Okay? So, those of you who answered yes, ilan ang IMAD rate ninyo? Are you above 50%? Majority ba are making disciples? Okay. So, number 12, do you have family members or relatives you are regularly discipling? Okay. Karamihan, hindi pa. Okay. All right. Thank you for your honesty. Okay. So, you see, all of us, we notice, can still grow in becoming intentional disciplers. So, let me conclude, okay, by showing you, okay, hold on. Okay, so let me fast forward already. Okay, so you see why family intentional discipleship is different from a D group or even a discipleship group, because okay, in family ID we will train one another, we'll help one another to create a safe environment conducive for accountability. Okay, and to address specific issues of character that leads to Christ-likeness. Sometimes that's not possible. Oftentimes it's not possible in a D group because it's a large setting and people may feel unsafe to open up to be accountable. And the focus on D group is on process, di ba? On how to grow the D group, okay? Rather than on the issue, the one thing application that needs to happen, okay? So what happens is, because we are so focused on the process, application, especially pertaining to character, is often neglected. I don't think that's intentional, but that's what happens. It also later on becomes content driven. It's a passing on information rather than being more intentional on seeing life change validated by other people. Is there really transformation happening? Are you willing for you to be open, humble, and transparent that others will ask your spouse, is she really more humble now? Okay? And putting others first, putting you first. Okay? So testimonials of family members are crucial to this, to validate whether we are really growing or not. Whereas in the D group, it's the growth in numbers. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not going to be enough. Just like the story of Eli and Phinehas and the story of Raph Bongayat. So the focus of Family ID is we want every member a discipler. And that happens because the presence of God is there when we focus on being Christ-like. Let me end with this video.
What are my weaknesses and struggles that I face as I disciple my family? Wow, there's a lot.
I was not always with them. I wasn't there with them more than I would want to. and I feel that I've missed a lot of magic moments to share my faith with them and to be closer with them.
As an overseas worker, spending quality time with my daughter is really a big challenge for me due to proximity and differences in our time zones.
Sa tuwing nakikita ko na maayos naman ang katayuan ng aking mga anak, kasama ko at ng aking wife, ay nagiging tahimik na ako.
For some reason, pride creeps in, and I always thought that I'm always right in every argument.
Finding time for them, making time for them, I would say.
He teaches us the Bible and God's Word. Whenever I want to tell him something, he listens, and I know the littlest thing I want to talk to, he listens.
So one of the things that I really appreciate about Dad with his intentionality is when he's actually the first person to say sorry. When we have arguments, maybe with my mom or with us girls,
now he shares to us openly, listens to our suggestions, and accepts corrections from us.
Quello che apprezzo di mio padre è il suo modo di incoraggiare me, mia madre e mia sorella, e ci fa da coach.
He would always make sure that we would spend some time together, just the four of us, and really get to know us, ask us about our day.
What I also really love about my dad is that he shows his support in his own special way. Whenever he sees that I was not feeling okay or I was feeling down, he would notice that immediately and he would ask what's wrong.
Minsan sumusobra pa nga kasi yung mga times na pag konti mo, he will just immediately go to the kitchen and really make lemon ginger for us. And I really appreciate that as well.
My dad, he's a superhero. I'm convinced. He's so open-minded, and yet when he has to, puts his foot down.
Dad has always been the biggest encourager of my dreams. But above all, I am most grateful for my dad because he constantly reassures me that throughout everything, whether success or failure, that he will always love me unconditionally.
Let me end with this. Do you believe that we can become just like those dads who started off just like you and me, unaware of what it means to be Christ-like humble, unaware of what the impact of intentionality in the home. And yet, because they humbled themselves, they repented, they recognized their weaknesses, and started being accountable, started applying what they learned in family intentional discipleship. Things started to change in their relationship with their children, with their spouse, with their family. Would you like to be part of that? Okay. You see, it's not our training that will change you. It's because God will be present when we sincerely apply what we learn from the training. It's not the training itself, okay? But God being present when we sincerely put it into practice by starting with ourselves, being conscious of being humble before God and being humble with family members. So, if that is the desire of your heart, I'd like to encourage you, join us in June 26 when we start with that training, and invite others as well, because I see this as the key of even the church recovering from the decline and making an impact to the world. But it all begins with you and with me, with our family. God bless you.